All right, so I got a reaction coming at y'all real quick. I want to do this, man. I ain't even gonna wait till I get home, man. So if the audio don't sound good, man, yeah, just bear with me. But I'm going back on it because I watched this earlier, and I wanted to touch on it because Anton brought up the Bible. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. So I want to touch on what Rizza Islam was saying because it's correct according to the scriptures. So let's get into it, man.
With that being said, since we get into the meat a little bit early, we'll go ahead and play this clip.
The world is in the condition that it is in because of the disrespect of the woman. There's so much that we place around her because, as we are also taught, that when you teach a man, you are teaching an individual. When you teach a woman, you are teaching a nation. Every prophet came from the womb of a woman. Every intelligent, strong, powerful man and woman came from the womb of a woman. So that's why they have to attack mother and remove father, because before you can get to her, you have to get through him. Every wise nation has security, and the man is supposed to be that security because of her value, because a whole nation comes out of her. So you must be protected, and the man having that essential position by nature. So someone who knows that about you will do their best to make sure you are removed, because there is a standard of conditioning that has to take place: man, woman, child. If I want to get to that, I have to remove your protector, because he is watching to make sure that everything that goes on in this environment is safe and secure. That's why they have to attack masculinity, because they know, damn, if there's real men around here, we can't really do what we want to do. And if there are real women, we for damn sure can't do what we want to do, because she's going to protect that child, he's going to protect that woman, and they both are going to protect society.
Who was that?
Now, I just wanted to let that play out, you know what I'm saying, because I want to touch on what Rizza Islam talking about through the scriptures, because Anton brought it up. I think the only thing that need to be tweaked about what he said is you have to teach the men first so they're able to teach the women, because if you teaching these women, that's going to give them a power dynamic over the men. You got to teach the men first. The knowledge is a level of power, period. I don't care how you slice that. So I understand where Anton was going with what he said, but it's still correct according to the scriptures that you teaching the women is going to teach the nation, period, point blank, because the women, especially in the early stages, is who going to be instructing the children. Let's go in the Bible right quick. Just to make the point, because Rizza was talking about how you got to get rid of the man so you can get to the woman. So I can teach your woman what I want her to know, then she'll teach it to your children. Watch this. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. Now, when you break down according to the scriptures what the bread and the water is knowledge and understanding. Verse 2, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, and the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. So this is step one. Now, this is biblical prophecy that according to the Bible, our nation was going to go through that the men was going to be destroyed. He said the mighty man, the judge, the man of war, the prophet, the prudent, the artificer, the orator, these are inventors, these are counselors, these are men of war. These are the type of men that God said he's going to take away from us. Why? Because you got to remove the man to destroy the nation. It had to happen. So when you destroy the man, what happens after that? Verse 12. Verse 12, this is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Oh, my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. Now, to get to the point where the women are in control of the household, you got to jump back up to verse 1 and 2. God said he was going to do that. Why? For our disobedience. Y'all don't want to do what I say, I'm going to destroy y'all. It is what it is. So according to what Rizza was saying, it's the truth. When you take the men out and you got the woman there by herself to teach, whoever the influence is, 9 times out of 10 in the black community, if the man is not there, the influence is the white man. And whatever on TV, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's continue. Let's get some more. This is 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 14. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. Why? It said that the young children, the young women should get married, bear children, and guide the house. It's her job to teach the children. Now, obviously, the man got to be in place to teach that woman, but it's her job to teach the children. It is what it is. Let's get some more. Second Maccabees. Now, if you ain't never read the book of Second Maccabees, this story is about a woman. She had 7 sons, and they was killing her sons for not breaking God's laws. They was standing up against the Romans or the Greeks. They was trying to force them to break God's laws, and they was choosing to die rather than to break God's laws. And this is one of the things that she told one of her sons. This is verse 27. But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner: O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endure the troubles of education, because it's the mother's job to teach. Her sons were strong mentally because of the things that they was taught. Now, when you read from the whole chapter, she was teaching them God's laws. They was unwavering. They was not finna break God's laws, but just because, okay, I'll let you live if you eat this pork. I'll give you this, and that. Telling, break your morals and values. Break your integrity for this. We'll give you a gift if you do this. But through her education, what she taught them, who did she get that from? Now, when you read the Bible, the men was in control of all these things. She was being taught by men. She didn't just up and get this stuff. She was being taught by strong men. But it's her job to teach them children. It is what it is. Let's get an example. Let's get an example of this situation. Now, this is them coming out of Babylon. This is the Jews coming out of Babylon. This is Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. So they married basically a bunch of Asian women. Ammon and Moab, those are Japanese and Chinese women. Verse 24, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. Now, think about what's going on here. Think about why I would get this precept. These men was marrying women of other nations. These other nations have other cultures. These men, they married these women, and their children was speaking the language of the other cultures. Why? Because the women are in control of teaching the children. It is what it is. So what Rizza Islam was saying, it sounded like some bullshit when he first started. But what he's saying is actually correct, because you take the men out the way, you get access to the women. You program the women to think a certain type of way. They gonna feed it to the children. That's why you see all this bullshit that's happening in America today amongst black people. You remove the men. You make women not respect the men. You give them an avenue to not need the men. And I can program them to think how I want them to think. And that's what you see today, where even in the Bible, it show you, if you had a woman of another nation, she gonna be in control of teaching your children. They gonna be doing all types of other shit. Telling you what, if they had wives of their own nation, they'd have been taught properly. But that wasn't the case. Let's get some more. Let's get some more right quick. Now, this going back to what Anton was saying. Now, what you were saying, Anton, was correct. Women are not supposed to be over congregations and teach men. But They are supposed to teach children. They are supposed to be in positions to teach, just not over men and not over the church. This is Titus chapter 2 and verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. So he dealt with the men first. The men got to get taught first, period, point blank. Verse 3. The aged women likewise. So the aged women got to be on the same program as the men above. So the same thing that he told the men, go for the women as well. But we're going to continue on. That they may be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. Because it's their job to teach. Who they got to teach? If they can't teach the men, who they supposed to teach? The women and children. It is what it is. Verse 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Now, where are these women going to learn all these traits? Where are they going to learn all these things? They learn those things from the men. A man got to teach a woman those things, then she teach it to other women. When you have an older woman and she teaches younger women how to love their husbands, where did she get the knowledge to know how to love a husband? Her husband taught her how to love a man. It is what it is. So I understand where Anton was coming from, because the way he presented it out the gate sounded bad. But according to the Bible, it is what it is. Even when you go to the Adam and Eve conversation, God taught Adam the law. It is what it is. Because when you read the scriptures, Adam was there by himself when God gave him that commandment. So when Eve was dealing with the serpent, she reiterated what God told Adam. Who taught Eve that? Adam did. The men have to teach the women teach the children. So in other words, the women teach the nation. But if the men are not in place, to teach what's correct, the nation gonna go to shit. Let me get one more. Cause this kind of go in hand with that. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10. In verse 1. I'm a liken it to a household, to a nation, a husband and wife with the family, because a household is supposed to resemble a small city. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So this coming from the top. A judge is a high-ranking official. So he said the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So that man being in place, he able to order his people all right, correct? Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. So as a man, I'm in a position where I have some type of knowledge and understanding. If I have the knowledge and understanding, obviously I'm going to teach my wife. So if I'm a prudent man, like it said right here, he said, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. So that your wife will be prudent as well. She will be smart as well, because you teaching her. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Why do I go here? Because it's just like in Isaiah chapter 3, you had the great men, the prophet, the prudent, the eloquent orator, the artificer. You got all these different men in place. You got a different nation. So God said in verse 1 and 2, he was going to remove that for our disobedience. Then you get down to verse 12, the man is gone. So the women are there to be by themselves. Who going to teach them? Who going to teach them? It said the women destroyed the way of the path. It caused the people to err. It caused the people to go off. So I understand, because it sounded bad, but he was correct. It is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm out.